So hello everyone. Hi Danish. Hi Snowy. I'm Amna. My name is Amna Ansari. I'm a psychologist by profession and I'm a senior research psychologist at ASCC.
Hello, my name is Snowy Rahi, and I am a psychologist by profession as well, and I am working at ASCC as a senior research psychologist. So a very warm welcome, Danish and Amna. Today we'll be having a conversation and discussion. But before we get to that, I'd like to introduce Mr. Danish Kanakraj, who is a motivational speaker, storytelling trainer, and 5x TEDx speaker. He speaks on topics like win over your mind, overcoming fears, and what's your excuse to motivate and inspire people from various walks of life. As a storytelling trainer, he helps entrepreneurs and corporate leaders to effectively communicate using the power of stories. He has a collective experience of 3+ years in training and development, spoken over at 160 plus stages, 60 plus webinars, and impacted 20,000 plus people. So, Danish, a warm welcome once again.
Thank you, Rosmai. Thank you, Amna.
Yeah, so a very warm welcome, Danish. We'll quickly get to our session. So the first thing that we would really want to know is what is your perspective on the art of storytelling? And what can you tell us about it from your point of view?
I think my perspective of storytelling, story, means sharing a story about an experience and linking it with the kind of things that we want to speak, or linking it with the message that we want to convey, that inspires and influence your audience into action. I mean, that's my perspective about the storytelling, because stories are what inspires, engages, motivates, teaches. I mean, it does a lot of things when we share a story. So, over the period of time, I'll tell you my experience about storytelling. Perhaps as of now, sharing a story about an experience or a memory, and then linking it with a message is what I am fond of, and that is what I like about what storytelling is all about.
Well, that was a very crisp introduction into the point. I think that makes a lot of sense. So, Danish, what got you interested in this art of storytelling? And when did you realize that it could help individuals in their respective fields? I mean, something might have motivated you in that direction. We'd like to know about that.
Uh, so when I was in college times, I mean, I used to have this habit of writing blogs. So whatever I experienced, I had a startup then. So I used to write my business experiences, my college experiences, the people that I met, the learnings that I've had. So I used to scribble my notepad and I started creating a blog out of it on online. And that's what I have around 3,000 followers on my blog as of today. And then I started applying these stories everywhere, like in business, in personal life, in professional life, while speaking to family. Everywhere I started applying the story, and I've received a phenomenal kind of results because of that. And I was able to simplify communication. Like, nowadays people do not understand jargon, people do not understand technical, and most importantly, people do not care how much you know. People do not care that. People only care about how much you care for them. And that care can only be established, or that care can only be conveyed through, uh, through simplest form of communication, which is called storytelling. And that's what, that's how I was able to help individuals, professionals, business owners to communicate through storytelling and effective communication in their respective fields also. And there are a lot of challenges and a lot of things that a business owner also goes through, or a professional goes through while communicating. If they want to communicate a message, they forget what they want to speak. They do not have a sequence. They add up jargon, they add up technical language, and people do not understand those things. And story does simplify all these things and makes it, very easy to digest kind of thing. So this is what it made me interested, and this is what makes me get up every day, write stories, share stories, and make others also to share stories.
I'm completely with you on that, Danish. I mean, something which somebody tells me through a story, I also understand it better. And we can agree that it's not only for children, but it is for adults as well. So while
Of
we're
course,
on children, do you think storytelling is just, for recreational activities for children, or do they have a more important impact on children?
like as a child, of course, I had, because I can talk about myself. When I was a child, that's when I started storytelling unconsciously, without knowing. I didn't knew that. My mother is always. I had this problem. Speak with confidence. That was one. And second was I always used to have spelling mistakes. So my mom used to make me write at least 2 pages in a day, copywriting kind of a thing, and then read those 2 pages loudly. Now, what made, of course, I overcome the mistake problems and all those things. I was able to speak more confidently. What made the changes was it made me aware about myself, who I am, what I am. It makes me aware. And when we start writing stories, I mean, storytelling helps children as more as a recreational activity. Of course, to make it makes them aware about themselves. It builds confidence. It only focuses on good things. And say, for example, if I ask anybody to write 5 good things that has happened today, it is all about the experiences. And whenever we jot down, whenever we write something of those things, we always write positive things. And stories are always positive. Though we start with negativity, the process takes us, the journey takes us towards the solution path. The journey takes us towards the success path. And that's what the speciality of a story is. So my submission to this question is, it makes the children more aware about themselves. That is something very important. It makes them to focus more on positivity. As a psychologist, you might understand this. We want everybody to be more happier nowadays and to be more confident as well. So these three things helps the children, the practice of storytelling.
Right. So, Danish, I think you also, like, while telling or answering Amna's question that how stories are more than just a recreational form of activity, you also highlighted that how successful, is storytelling in helping people or helping the children through the learning process. So that is what you would say, that it helps kids as part of their learning processes.
Of course it does, because whenever see, I work with business professionals or corporate professionals, and when there is a conversation between the team members in the team, sometimes people do not understand what is the message that a person is trying to convey. The PPT would be made by someone, but the listener would be someone, and they would not be able to communicate or convey their message properly to the team members. That's the reason a lot of goals are not achieved by a lot of corporates messaging, right? And that exactly applies to the learning process in children as well. And what story does to a child or to a brain is, or a human brain is, it paints the picture in the mind. If we start speaking about a story, like I said, my mom used to make me sit and make me write 2 pages in a day and read 2 pages in a day. So that paints a picture in your mind, right? You are able to imagine your mom. You are able to imagine yourself or a child who's writing or reading or doing something. So that exactly helps in the learning process. And there are three kinds of learners. Like, if we talk about NLP, there are visual learners, auditory learners, and kinesthetic learners. And all these three types of learners, auditory, kinesthetic, and visual, and they're able to understand things more better. And can, we want the child to remember things. We want the child to remember a lot of things in their mind. And story helps the students remember information, because when the content is meaningful and when the intent is right, students really understand information. Now let me ask you both, We would have read, I'm sure you would have heard this uh, Stone and the Crow story.
Yes.
Yes. Have you learned that? Have you mucked that up in your childhood days? Absolutely not. You are not given marks for it. But if I ask you today, tell me that story, you will say it with the character, with the moral of the story, with the process, what that crow went through, how did that water came up. So you will give me those pointers in sequence. That is an impact that story has over a student.
So Danish, since there's so many positive impacts of storytelling, and you know, you're an example of how it is helpful for corporates as well. What would make one a good storyteller? What are the techniques, the tips that you would, want to share for one to become a good storyteller?
I think first is to understand the framework. I mean, how does the story work? Usually the story works in a framework called there is a beginning, there is a climax that a person reaches to, and there is a solution or a resolution. So this is a simple framework. Perhaps there is a lot of framework we use as purposes. Like if it's an education purpose, there is a different framework. If there is a business communication, there is a different framework. If there is a presentation communication or a storytelling, that's a different framework. So first is to understand the framework. What kind of framework suits the kind of messaging that we are doing? That is first. Second, the tip that I would like to give each one of you is to write 5 things that have happened good today with you. When we start writing this 5 good things, even if I ask you now, tell me 5 good things about what have happened today, we'll start wondering 5 good. अरे 5 अच्छी चीजें. We'll not be able to jot it down. But when we start practicing that, we'll only start seeing positive things. And when we start seeing positive things, we'll start writing those positive things. Today is 7th of August, and after a month, if we come back and read what were the 5 good things that have happened on 7th of August, you feel so motivated and inspired. Arey, what I have done? What are the kind of phenomenal things that have happened in my life? I mean, it is nothing but a story. Of course, these are simple starts, simple beginning to a vast journey of storytelling. Perhaps these are the simple beginning to which to a storytelling which each one of you can give. Writing and following the kind of framework or the techniques that storytelling has.
Right. That was very interesting. We also use a similar sort of technique in psychology. It's called either we call it counting our gratitude or gratitude journaling, things like that, which help people who are especially in low moods, sometimes help patients with depression. So I could somehow relate to that. And I know that it has been proven, the effect of counting gratitude has been proven time and again.
Of course. And we don't want people to get into depression and then start doing it.
Right.
Right. So we want everybody to, have it as a ongoing process. And it's a lifelong journal that we have along with us to take back. If somebody wants to know about you, they can read about what are the things that you have written. I mean, nothing
Absolutely.
more or nothing less.
Right. So, since we are talking about the importance of storytelling, and up until now we've seen quite a few reasons as to why one should go for it. What are your thoughts on including storytelling as a part of the curriculum? I know that we have certain degrees once we get into graduation or masters, but what would you think about if we include the art of storytelling at very young age for preschoolers, kindergartners at that stage?
So, adding curriculum to our for the students, I mean, storytelling into the curriculum. So human brains are hardwired for stories. I mean, they remember stories like anything. Like we had a recent example of the crow story. Now, even if I ask you, what did you study last year, you won't remember that. Perhaps if I ask you, on which bench were you sitting to study with your favorite friends or with your best friend, you'll remember those things. And it is, stories serve so many purposes in our life. So stories are about so much more than reading and listening to it. And as an education system, as a curriculum, what we want the child to develop is their cognitive abilities, their social abilities, and their emotional development as a psychologist or an emotional intelligence guide or a coach. We want these three or four things to happen in a child while they start growing up. And of course, these things should be added. And as I told in the beginning as well, story starts painting a picture in the child's mind. So irrespective of whether a child is a visual learner, an auditory learner, or a kinesthetic learner, the child starts understanding the concept in a deeper way, in a depth manner. I mean that gives an occasion or a beginning to a brighter future and strengthening their basic concepts. Now I remember if my teacher or my maths teacher would have taught me integration or differentiation within a story format, definitely I would have scored more marks. So that's what it is.
Right. So now because we've talked about it so much, and I think Snowy and me both are extremely interested in the topic in storytelling, we would like you to, maybe share a short story as an example, or, you know.
Sure, Amma. So there's a vegetable called bitter gourd which I don't like to eat, and from my childhood days, my mom always cooks that because she wants to make me more healthier. So whenever she puts bitter gourd on my plate, I eat that first because I want to complete that and then I want to enjoy the rest of the meal. That is exactly how I can connect with today's tasks and activities that we happen in the professional life and the personal life. And today, when I have the hardest things to do in my business or in my professional life, I do those first. So I ask myself, how many bitter gourds have you eaten today? So I have this practice, right, to do more harder things first so that I can enjoy the lighter things in the rest of the day and the rest of the week and the rest of the month. So this is one thing that I can, relate to bitter gourd and to the task and activities that I've been doing. So that gives us a very important lesson in our life, to do the harder things first and to enjoy the rest of the life.
That was a very good example, and I think that it will stay with us and everyone who listens to it, because all of us can relate to it at one point or another. Most of us probably have been subjected to the same sort of thing while growing up, and that you have to eat your green vegetables first, whether you like them or not. But yeah, connecting it to, never thought of connecting it to our adult lives in the way that you narrated right now. But like you said, because it was in a form of narration, as a form of storytelling, it is bound to stay with us for a longer duration. So thank you so much for taking out the time and being with us today, and just enlightening us on the art of storytelling and how it is, biologically inbuilt in our brains to understand things better if they are told to us through story narration. So thank you so much, Danish.
Most welcome, Snowy.
Thank you
So
so
I
much.
have this. Thank you, Amna. So I have this final submission that I want to tell that there are two things I deeply follow as my success principle. That always have fun in fundamentals. So the fundamentals have always been to read, write, and share. So always have fun in the fundamentals. And second is keep exploring life and write down those experiences in the form of memories and stories that will always come as a guiding light in the futures to come. As you said, writing journals always helps us to come out of depression, always makes us happy, and so on. So have fun in fundamentals, keep exploring life, and write down those experiences as a story. Signing off, Ganesh Kanakar. Thank you.
Thank you so much.